The world is watching from afar. A lot of folks wanting to help out the Ukrainian effort. And they can't grab a gun or a rocket launcher, but what they can do is grab a credit card and look for companies around that can help them directly get dollars into their hands. To talk about that, thought leader and visionary on Amazon, Stephen Pope, joins us. Stephen, welcome in.
Thanks for having me on.
A thought leader. Expand on that.
So I have over 1,000 videos on YouTube explaining how to sell on Amazon. And so I'm the thought leader when it comes to SEO and PPC and all kinds of traffic things that you do on Amazon to sell on the platform.
And where did you get your experience? Where did you kind of come up with that info?
So they don't teach that in a college. So that would be from selling on my own brand. And then I run an agency with over 200 different people, and we have over 200 brands that we work with. So for the past decade, we really just tested it ourselves.
So are you employed with Amazon, or are you your own subsidiary?
So I founded an agency called My Amazon Guy. Have nothing to do with Amazon directly, but I did make my company before they trademarked the name Amazon. So fun story.
Interesting. All right. So the Ukraine-based or theme businesses out there, do we have any idea what percentage of business and profits increased since the war has started? Do we know how high it went up?
So without a doubt, this is the most we've ever seen another nationality's flag sell in a short time period. Right. This is the most a flag has sold probably ever since 9/11. And so on Amazon, 3 weeks ago, we saw that it crept up to be the number one seller in all of Amazon Outdoor, which is, we're talking 8,000 units a day kind of, and that's just on like one SKU or one product. So we've seen hundreds and hundreds of sellers move inventory over here. And a lot of people are wondering, like, hey, they want to participate in the biggest news story in the entire world right now. They want to show support. Well, it's pretty easy to put together a Ukraine flag. It's got two colors. It's yellow and blue. So we saw a lot of different sellers just come out with the products all of a sudden. And anybody that was selling this before obviously moved a ton of inventory. Now, here's the depressing news, though.
Yep.
If you go on right now and click on the top-selling Ukraine flag on Amazon, it's not exactly sending money to the pockets of Ukrainians. In fact, if you go on to the listing and on the top right where you see that add to cart or buy now button, we call that the buy box. Right underneath that, there is a ships from sold by tag. And that sold by tag is the seller. And so the number one seller of Ukraine flags right now is a company called Bailu. If you click on that, their address is public record. And it's coming out of a country called China with the city Guangzhou. So a lot of us are sending our money to China to support Ukraine right now.
That was going to be the second question. So, is there anything that can be done to combat that at this point, or offset at least?
So Amazon customers have more transparency than they've ever had before, and I think Amazon really went out of its way to make things more transparent, primarily because fake reviews have been such a bad problem on the platform. And Amazon customers really trust the platform. They get the free returns and the 2-day shipping, and that wasn't fast enough. It was 1-day shipping, and that wasn't fast enough, so it's Prime now, right? And so I'm sure there were some executive meetings that went down to figure out, like, how do we increase transparency? Well, about a year ago, they released all legal business address information for every seller. And so because of that, customers can now click on the seller information and make decisions on where they purchase from. Now, I personally have clicked through hundreds of Ukraine flags on the Amazon platform. I have not seen a single one have a seller from Ukraine. This is going to be 80, 90%, somewhere around there. U.S.-based companies, Chinese-based companies.
So, that being said, with the research and things that you've seen that have effectively got money to them there in Ukraine, what can people do? What do you recommend?
So buying stuff on Amazon probably not going to be the thing to support people in Ukraine, and that's because, the merchandise can come from anywhere, right? But, and while I'm not an expert on some of these other platforms like an Airbnb, I do think that's a clever and creative way, right? So instead of sending your money through some charity organization where there's multiple hands touching the money, you never know where it's going to go, how it's going to get there, just simply putting money directly in businesses over there, like booking an Airbnb with no intention of showing up, I do think that is a clever way to get direct ties and get the money where it needs to go.
Agreed. Is Amazon doing anything on their own, just as like a second kind of, separate help and aid for them?
I don't think I've seen any public statements from Amazon. Obviously, they make more money when items sell on the platform, and if there's a general trend or a general interest, they're going to push the product. But as far as I can tell, I haven't really seen anything of that nature. Now, a lot of companies have redone their brand logos in blue and yellow to show austerity or whatnot towards the Ukrainians. What's in right now, I guess you could say, is definitely that. But I haven't seen Amazon step it up and say, hey, we're going to donate millions of dollars to the people of Ukraine.
Gotcha. All right, Stephen Pope, who is a thought leader and a visionary, before we let you go, let's use the visionary aspect of your business card. If you could, give us some sort of goodness for 2022 that we can look forward to. As you look in your crystal ball, is there anything that might give us a bit of joy or somewhat of a smile?
That's a tough thing to come by right now with all the inflation, war, and everything else, right? Well, I will say this. It's never been a better time to sell on the Amazon platform. So if you're a manufacturer, a wholesaler, or a retailer, it's never been a better time to sell on Amazon because people are still flocking to purchase items, and e-commerce has really grown, and it's been a big boon. So I'm in the elevator on the way up, where a lot of sectors right now are in the elevator on the way down.
For somebody who's local that could be in that category, what would you say a first step to do that would be?
Well, they need to open up a Seller Central Amazon account, start loading their product data, make sure they optimize the listings, and then start advertising and working on their search engine optimization. Products will move. If they're priced well and they're good products, they're going to move on Amazon. Amazon's half the economy. It's a force of nature, that's for sure.
Stephen Pope, appreciate the time. Continued success. Thank you for the time.
Thanks for having me on.